But the truth is, like, if I serve the God that created time, who am I to tell him how I should be moving within it? Hello? What's up, everyone? If you can hear the sound of my voice, that means that you are tuned into Actually with Jordan Alexa, where perspective is on the hot seat. Here, we challenge conformity and ignite insight by encouraging you to think for your own self. And you can think of me as your friend that's going to tell you how it is, what it is, and if it is. Because sometimes it is, and sometimes it ain't. With that being said, how y'all doing? I hope you're doing good. I don't know about y'all, but I'm cold. Clearly, I'm sitting here with a sweatshirt and a beanie on. And it's just fall, and I'm freezing. I don't know how winter gonna go. I don't know how it's gonna go, y'all. And I'm in the house. What am I gonna do? I'm in the house, and my scalp is freezing. I have cornrows. Look, not showing my business. Ew, I look like a dinosaur. Anyways, I got Let me fix this hair. I look like somebody's uncle. I look like T.I. Uh-oh. All right, now I got myself together. It look a little lopsided. Y'all don't judge me if I look like a sideways bean. Now, I shouldn't have lifted my hat up to begin with. I had no business doing that, but that's okay. Okay, y'all, so listen. Last week we started out with me doing a reflection question at the beginning, and I say we keep doing it, right? Okay, so here goes. The whole point of me doing a reflection question is, number one, this is a show about reflection. Hello. Number two, like I said last week, I am a very self-reflective person. Self-reflective? Yeah, I said that right, I think. Yeah, I'm a self-reflective person. And then also at the same time, I think, like, it's just another opportunity for me to tell all my business. And really my goal is, like, as I am vulnerable with you, my hope is that you will become vulnerable with yourself, So even as I randomly click the button for a random question to pop up, and I answer the question, you should definitely ask yourself the question too. Cool? Cool. Let's do it, friend. Okay. So it says, what is one thing that you would like to change about yourself? What's one thing that I want to change about myself? Actually, don't know if I want to change. I don't do well with change. One thing that I would like, that is something that I guess I could change about myself. Like, I do not do well with change. Like, even if it's good, I be sitting there like, I be clenching my booty cheeks like, okay, now y'all need to hurry up and do what y'all need to do because I'm nervous, I'm scared. I mean, anxiety, wired out the roof. And so I guess, like, I don't know if that change will ever become easier for me. I think maybe something that I can work on is understanding, like, change happens, like, literally occurs naturally. Like, my favorite season's happening right now, but it wouldn't happen if change didn't occur, in the weather kind of thing. But change happens in your life, and you need to be okay with that. And even if it doesn't feel good or it doesn't feel comfortable, you do need to be okay with the idea of change, and you need to be okay with the idea that you cannot control everything. Who wants to get comfortable with that? And I guess that would be what I would say. Something I would change about myself is to become more comfortable with change. So, answer that question about yourself in your own time. We're moving on. We're in an upward. Alrighty, guys. So getting into this combo, I want to talk about something because I keep finding myself having the same conversation with people. I don't know if it's that just people close to me are going through something similar, or if it's just that a lot of people are going through this. But nonetheless, let's hoppity woppity. What? Let's get into it. Okay, so how do I set this up? So 2 years ago, me and my husband, oh my gosh, God told us to quit the jobs that we were working and to move to another city and pursue the blueprint that he had for our lives, right? Now, let me tell y'all something. We were teachers in the height of the pandemic, which is like scary, but alongside of that came, consistent money, a cute little house, well, a cute little townhome. It was big. So it was like a house, but it was a townhome. And like crab legs whenever I wanted. I just need y'all to know a lot of the motivation for me becoming wealthy is crab legs. I love crab legs so much. But he told us to basically pick up our things. Like, we literally took these jobs thinking that we were going to be there for like 2-3 years. We're going to use this time to like save up money to help establish ourselves, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But God said, no, quit your jobs and pursue, what it is that I have for you. Like, he gave us both visions and whatever. And like when this happened, we were so excited because like when God shows you something, it's lit, It's like, oh, snap, this is what he finna do, this is what it's finna be, let's do it. So we were not reluctant at all, right? So we moved to another city and we were expecting we were expecting things to jump off like quick, right? Just because you could see it so vividly. So of course we were excited because, it was lit. We could see the vision that God had for us, whatever. So we moved to the new city or whatever. We moved to our new place and ensues a season of pain and struggle and strife. Literally, like, oh my gosh. Once we moved, we experienced a lot. And one of the things that, we experienced was, especially me, like something about my husband. And people that know my husband know this about him. My husband gonna find a job. My husband gonna have money. He gonna work. He gonna make something shake. Period. Okay? My husband is a hustler. So more so me than him. So during this time, we thought we was gonna move over here and it's gonna be gravy and it's gonna be whatever. I started to like, look for jobs and look for work and unsuccessfully because I would literally look for work and come so close to getting positions, like literally doing crazy presentations, whatever. Crazy presentations, meeting with CEOs, like all types of stuff. And it was just like failing, right? And apparently that's just the economy right now. But I don't know, y'all. I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes I feel like, they be saying the economy this, the economy that, but I feel like it's just you. It just be you going through stuff because when you look over here, you look over there. Sue and Lou are okay. And I am struggling. Anyways, I was searching for jobs unsuccessfully, right? Well, searching for jobs within my industry, which is, mass comm, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, I'd had success here and there, got little jobs here and here, got contracts here and there kind of thing. but nothing that was stable. Nothing that was stable. And, after that, we were like, surely we have made a mistake. Surely God did not tell us to move to another city. Surely God did not tell us to do all this stuff. We came up with this with our imagination. This is not real. Goodness gracious. Until I was able to finally secure a job. Now, something about this job is, I got this job. I first started working this job, 2 years ago. Something about this job is I have literally been running away from this job up until 5 to 6 months ago. When I mean on the run, I mean like I would literally, and thank God for one thing about me, I'm a diligent worker. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it good, right? So thank God that even though I had the job and I didn't necessarily want the job that I had, I do my job well. And I have left and come back and left and come back, right? Thankfully, I was able to maintain a good reputation and a good, whatever with the job. But I mean, really, after that second time I left, they could have been like, no, girl, because you're going to leave again. Can't come back here. Anyways, I have been running away from this job up until 5 to 6 months ago. And there was one day right before I went back the third or fourth time. I do not. I think it's the third time. I don't know how many times I left this place. Anyways, shout out to y'all. There was one time right before I went back, and I was studying my Bible. And, I was trying to study my Bible because sometimes so I was doing this thing I call Bible roulette, right? And there's sometimes I don't like sometimes not. Okay, honesty. Sometimes I don't like to sit down and read my Bible. I don't. And so if you could think about when you were in school and y'all had free Fridays, this, for some reason for me, is Free Friday, right? So it's this thing that I do. It's called Bible Roulette. And it's when I used to do it way back in the day. How old am I? Ain't no way back in the day, girl. You only been saved for years? 2020. Almost 10 years out. Where is time going? Anyways, I used to do this thing when I was going through stuff, and I was like, God doesn't listen to me. God doesn't hear me. I don't have any faith. I used to do Bible roulette, and I used to be like, all right, God, meet me here. I believe you're speaking to me through your word. And when I open this Bible, whatever you have specifically for this season, that is that kind of thing, right? But now I do it for fun. So I was like, all right, Lord, I'm about to open the Bible, and whatever you want me to hear is what it's going to land on. So I open the Bible, and I do like this with my finger, and then I stop. And it landed on James 1, and it was talking about, let the lowly glory in his exaltation, and let the rich glory in his humiliation, right? And so when I read that, I heard the Lord say clear as day, master humility. Now, when I heard the Lord say that, I said, oh, I'm about to be rich because the word humiliation was attached to rich. So I said, he must be talking to me. I must be the sick girl. Sick in the mind. I was like, oh, I'm about to be rich. I'm not even taking the scripture, looking at it for what it is, trying to see what the Lord said. I was like, oh, I'm about to be rich. And then even after that, God, when I was sitting there, he said, I only bless you so that you could be a vessel for the kingdom of God and be a display of my glory, right? So I'm like, he talking about giving me blessings? Like, it's finna be lit. Like, I'm finna be on. It's finna be on it popping. I'm finna be rich. And, I was sitting there and I was like, well, this is good, little Bible. Let me close the Bible. And then the Lord said again, master humility. And so a lot of times, like, the way that God speaks to me is if he says something and like I'll take it and run with it in that moment, and he don't have to do it. The Lord do not have to speak twice. My God, he'll say it again. Like, you got it wrong. So he was like, master humility. So I was like, okay, like I heard you the first time. Like, so now I was sitting there, I was like, all right, this is a mindset thing. Like, I did not get it, y'all. Seriously. I did not get it. I was like, this is a mindset thing. The Lord's going to bless me, and I need to start training my mind to, like, not boast in myself, not boast in, like, what it is I can do kind of thing, right? So I was like, surely this is what it is. So, anyways, God says master humility or whatever, and I was like, the Lord's about to bless me. Whoop, whoop. And we let that be that. That was a Bible study. And I was already wrong because that wasn't even real Bible study. I was wrong for that. That's not how you study your Bible. I mean, I was probably sitting there for like 10 minutes. Granted, if all you got is 10 minutes to give to the Lord, give it to him. Because obedience is better than sacrifice. It's better for you to do it than to not do it at all. Like, it's not what it is that you're giving, but it's more that you're, doing it kind of thing. But I had way more than 10 minutes to give because at the time I was unemployed. Very much unemployed, very much had time. And I'm going to give him 10 minutes. I said, oh, Lord, that was a good little word. That was a good little ditty. Thank you so much. I feel refreshed. He's about to bless me. So, yeah. So after that, like a few days later, God tells me, he says, you need to go back to that job. I said, what? What job? You need me to tell them something? You need me to be a messenger? No, go back to the job and work. So I was just like, Lord, now I've literally been, trying to get a job in my industry. And also at the same time, like between this, I am getting jobs. But the well was dry. It's like I would get a job and I'd be like, yeah, surely this is gonna, and it just wouldn't. It wasn't hitting on nothing. So the Lord said, go back to the job or whatever. And I was just like, surely you don't mean that. Surely you mean like go back in my recollection and try to remember why I was there in that season. And he was like, no, go back to the job. And I was just like, Lord, how is it that you want me to go back to this place? And this doesn't look like anything that you showed me. Like this. Now this don't make no sense. Now, I was mad. I was upset. Seriously upset. And then he said, master humility. And I said, now, Lord, now what do you mean by that? Now, what do you mean now? When you said that, I thought what you meant was, and he was like, master humility. And I was like, dang, I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm embarrassed about working this job. Like, this isn't fair. So on my first day back, I struggled a lot. Not only did I struggle a lot, I was like, I don't want to be here. I'm so upset that I'm here. I fell. I fell and almost broke my jaw. Okay? I almost died. Like, it was that bad. And so I'm back on this job that I don't want to work. I almost injured myself. And I'm like, this is lame. This is the lamest thing. Like, I do not want to be here. So my husband has an after-school program. And he contacted me because we only have one car. And he was like, yeah, so you're going to have to Uber home. So I was like, yeah, cool, no problem. I could Uber home. I'll make something shake. It's not a problem. We have one car. We have to do that sometimes. Y'all, don't you know, I'm getting ready to pull up the Uber app. That's what my grandma say. My grandma say Uber. And don't you know she debated me about it? She said, don't you know Uber got trucks now? I said, who? She said, Uber has trucks. And I said, who is Uber? She said, the people that drive you around. I said, it's Uber. She said, it's a U. It's Uber. She said, it's Uber. And in that moment, I said, if anybody ever calls me stubborn, I'm going to blame it on my grandmother because it's Uber. Anyways, I go to pull up the Uber app and the Holy Spirit says, walk home. I said, that must have been gas. Because the Holy Spirit said, walk home. And I was just like, who is about to walk home? Like, I literally got back to this job. I did not want to be here. I injured myself, broke my glasses. One of my favorite pair of glasses, I broke them. And then you want to say, walk home? God said, in that moment, master humility. Oh, so you want to pull this card on me again? Oh, this is embarrassing. You want me to walk home on the side of a busy, it's not a highway, but the road that we live by, literally, and it don't matter because these people don't know me, and our area has a lot of foot traffic. But in my mind, this is embarrassing. And the people that are riding through are going to see me. And they're going to see me in my work uniform. Okay, girl. Anyways, so the Lord told me to master humility. So I remember on this walk home, like, I was going through it, like, not only because it was hot and I had on my uniform, which had long sleeves and jeans. I was going through it because I was just like, Lord, what do you mean, master humility? Like, I've already been through the trenches. I'm humble. I am humble. I've already been through the trenches. Weren't you there when I ain't had no money? Weren't you there when I almost got evicted twice? Weren't you there when I was going to the food pantry and putting my name in to get food for... First of all, let me just say, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. But some of y'all food pantries, if you are going to give to people in need, you need to give food that is not expired. It's not right. Now, I know that the mindset is they can take what they can get, but if you're going to be a blessing, be a blessing. Okay? I just want to say that. Just quick insert. If you're going to be a blessing, be a blessing. And that goes for people too. Don't give nobody nothing because it's like, oh, but I don't need it. I don't use it. You know, you're thinking about it as in like no good, I don't know. They could take what they could get. That's not a good attitude to give with. Anyways, weren't you there when I was at the food pantry? Weren't you there when I was pulling together nickels and dimes to try to come up with gas? Weren't you there when I was when we had bread in the freezer? Weren't you there, God? I'm humble. First of all, for you to say, I'm humble, it's not a humble thing to do. You're not operating within a humble mindset if you are speaking that way. Anytime you are haughty, anytime you are viewing things from the, because even when I was talking to God about like, weren't you there when I did this? Weren't you there when I did that? Like anytime you are thinking about things from the perspective of you or doing things within your own ability, like with your own hands, I think I've said this before, that's prideful. Even when it's coming from the other direction, like, I can't do this. There's no way I can do this. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. That's thinking about it within you. That's false humility. That's pride. Like anytime you think about doing something within your own hands or, with the attitude of haughtiness is prideful. And so for me to say, I'm humble, clearly God was saying what he was saying for a reason. And so during this time, this is just an example. Me going back to this job and me walking home. It's just an example of like the little things during this time where me and God were literally going back and forth. Well, I was going back and forth because he wasn't budging. He was saying what he was saying. And I had a lot of fight in me. I was like, no, I ain't doing that. 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 I'm already humble. Clearly, like I just said, no, I wasn't. But we were doing this, in my mind, seemingly this back and forth until I finally just gave up. Which, by the way, anybody out there, you struggling, you going through a season, it's like, I don't know what to do, and you fighting it, and you just give up. Okay? I'll be the first one to tell you, just give up. Just throw up your hands and say, Lord, whatever, you can have it. You got it. Whatever you say goes. Because ain't no point in fighting him. He's going to win anyways, right? So I finally gave up. And when I finally gave up, it's like my perspective shifted. Of course. And that one time I walked home from work was not the only time that I walked home. I had to walk home from work several times. And I could have called Uber. But I think God in that time was exercising my ability to be like, all right, fine. Like to just say yes, right? And so it went from like the first time when I was walking home, me being embarrassed and me like, God, how am I supposed to be walking home? And how you got me doing this and how you got to me giving up. And I'm like, oh, I'm thankful that I have legs. I'm telling you, God will humble you so quick. I walk home like, dear Lord, thank you for all 10 toes. Thank you for 2 feet. Thank you for 2 legs. Thank you that I have limbs to walk home safely. Thank you. My perspective changed, as soon as I stopped fighting. And my perspective even changed about the job that I even had to begin with, because it went from, you got me working at this job that, has absolutely nothing to do with, anything, to, oh my God, thank you that I have a job. Thank you so much that I have a job, Lord. And even going back and remembering the fact that this job, y'all, literally, at one point, this job paid for, my husband got sick and literally was not even able to talk, could not use his voice. Like I know that a lot of people say that, oh, he's so soft-spoken. Yeah, but it used to be worse. Like he was literally like whispering in pain. And, the work that he did was like filming gigs, like in between. So this job that I had paid a good chunk of the bills that, we were getting and stuff like that. And I was so blinded by the fact that I was working a job that had nothing to do with what I wanted to do or what God showed me, or that I just thought was so embarrassing that it was hard for me to even realize the blessing in the fact that I had a job to begin with. Because I did not have to have a job. I did not have to have, God did not have to provide for me, whatever way it looked like. He didn't have to provide for me, but he did. Sorry. Sometimes you just got to stop and say, thank you. And, now with the perspective shift, I'm able to, experience my job differently and even see how the job is actually developing my character. And God speaks to me through my job. I keep saying my job, my job, my job. I work with dogs, y'all. I literally work with dogs. And, when I think about it, looking back at, like, if I were to tell 7-year-old Jordan that you work with dogs and you work with them in, what was I about to say, behavioral corrections and all this other stuff, like, she would have been like, you work with dogs? Like, she would have been so amazed, right? I would have been amazed at anything as a child, honestly. Could have told her I was running an ice cream truck, and she would have been like, ice cream everywhere. But I loved animals, and at one point in my life, like, I thought I was going to be a veterinarian. you know? Like, that's how much I love animals until I realized that they die. They be dying. You got to do surgery. You got to open up their belly and their chest and their brain sometimes. Sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't. Like, that's too much. But she would have been so amazed. And also with that perspective change, like, I'm able to look at it and be like, how cool is God that he allowed me to be able to, like, experience, like, because, like, people who are close to me know, like, I love science. I love biology. I love animals. I love the animal kingdom. I love it all, right? How cool is it that God allowed for me to be able to, like, be in an industry that appeases that side of me? You know, I learned so much. Of course, scientifically and behaviorally. But like I said, God talks to me a lot through my job. You'd be so surprised how the correlations between people and dogs is not very wide. I learned a lot about dealing with people through dealing with dogs. But he speaks to me a lot through my job. And, you know, I feel like back then I really was, you know, there was a point where, you know, I said we were like, surely we made a mistake. Like, we used to talk about it all the time. Like, should we have stayed where we were? And it's like, I went from a place of being like, surely this is not what God has for me. Surely we made a mistake. Surely this isn't right. To understanding that nobody, and I mean nobody is above a process. Nobody is above a process. And what I mean by nobody is above a process is nobody is like spectacular enough. Nobody is great enough to where you don't experience something, you don't go through something, you know, that is going to sharpen you, that is going to humble you, that is going to make you a better person, right? And I think it's because we live in a society where we see a lot of overnight success, or seemingly, you know, because sometimes, especially back in the day, like, somebody used to pop on the scene and he's like, you just came out of nowhere, but you knew that that person was like working behind the scenes kind of thing. These days, all you got to do is post a video overnight and it go viral, and now you're somebody kind of thing, you know? And then even on social media, all you see is the highlights of people's life, like highlight moments. You don't see process. You don't see what it took for that person. That's like this past weekend. Me and one of my friends and her sister went apple picking, and you know, she makes TikToks, whatever, blah blah blah. And she was like, all right, I'm about to set the camera up here. So what we about to do is we about to walk through the front, like cultivating a whole aesthetic, like, you know? And that process is like, we got to do it again. But all you see on the TikTok, you know, the thing that gets the likes is 3 brown girls in a fall apple picking, and it's only 30 to 45 seconds long, and we was at that place for 4 hours. Not making content, of course, like doing the experience and stuff like that, but we just had a 4-hour process. By the time we get to the car, our feet hurt, we're tired, we're hungry. Is that in the video? No, it's not. You know, because everything these days is about creating, you know, what's aesthetically pleasing, and it's easy to just, you know, make a video and go viral and seemingly just pop up overnight. And so I feel like sometimes, because the way that society is set up, we think that, you know, we're supposed to do something and we're just supposed to pop up overnight. But that's literally not how life works. And that's not how a life submitted to God works, right? Because we serve a God who is, y'all. When you hear let God have his perfect work in you, do you know what that means? Let God have his perfect work. Like, there is something that God has sworn to himself about you. Like, there's something that he said, and he made a promise to himself about you, and he not going to let that promise fail. And you not going to get in the way of it. You're not. And so when it comes to God processing you, God pruning you, God having his perfect work in you, it's like, oh my God, oh my you are abusing me. Like, I'm miserable. I feel like you are running me through the trenches. Like, I feel like you are beating me up. And it's like, just perfecting you. I'm just, bringing out the qualities in you that I know that are there. You don't know they're there, but I do. Y'all, I thought about this the other day. Do you know we only know ourselves for who we've been and who we are now? That's it. We only know ourselves for who we've been and who we are now. And God knows who we're going to be. He knows who we are going to be. He knows where we are going. So would it be crazy for me to understand that I have to become this person that he knows? Like, if he knows where I'm going, he knows who I'm going to be. He knows exactly what I need to go through to become this person. He knows exactly what I need to go through to do the things that he has called for me to do. He knows exactly what I need to go through to, get rid of all the things that I can't take into this next season. He literally knows, right? And so we be struggling with this temporary, uncomfort, and we be wanting instant gratification, and God's like, yeah, it's not about that for me. And a lot of times I know for me, I'll be like, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Like, I'm 29. There are things that I said that I wanted to have by 27, and I ain't got them yet. What you doing, God? What's going on? But the truth is, like, if I serve the God that created time, who am I to tell him how I should be moving within it? Hello? Hello, this is Jordan Alexis speaking. What? If I serve the God that created time, who am I to tell him how I should be moving within it? I have to believe that if my life is submitted to God, and I have faith in him, and I'm trusting him, and I'm, doing the things that reflect that, then where he has me is timely. Where he has me is where I'm supposed to be right now. Y'all, that I'm talking to myself. It's just this morning. I said, what is going on now? This ain't right. I'm looking around like, what's going on? I got to do something. Something's got to shake. If I live a life submitted to God, I have faith in him and I believe in him, and I'm doing everything that reflects that, where I am is where I'm supposed to be. Let me digest it. Jesus. So the conversation that I've been having with people is just that. Like, you're not above a process. Literally, who are you? Who are you to where you can surpass cultivation, to where you can surpass sharpening, to where you can go past, being refined, to where you could go past sanctification? Like, are you just that great? Are you? Because I could tell you you're not. You're literally, you're not. And I mean that with like the utmost love from the bottom of my heart. I mean this from like the corazón. Of course, You're somebody. God, you've got promises that God's going to fulfill. But believe me when I say you're nobody special in the sense of you don't just get to bypass things. You don't just get to bypass a process. And the truth is, you'll be much better for it. You will be much better for it. And so the same thing that I've been telling everybody that I've been having this conversation is what I'm about to tell you. Chill out. Ease up. Calm down. Life is hard enough, right? The process is going to be there. The more you fight it, the more you prolong it. Chill. And it doesn't feel good. What feels good? What about growing as a human being feels good? Even it's like when I was little, I went through like 3 growth spurts. When I tell y'all I was in pain, they literally thought I was, because like my dad's side of the family, everybody, even the women, 6 feet and up. So they thought I was going to be this ginormous girl, right? And I think my wingspan is taller than I actually am. I always say that the Lord said, I was growing, and he said, she needs to stop right here because her husband is only going to be this tall, and he not going to take her, and she not going to look at him if she taller than him. But when I was growing up, my legs would hurt, my hips would hurt. I got tendinitis, not like I got the tendinitis that comes from growing too fast, because it's like you can have, I think, tendinitis from several reasons, and I got the one that came from like my bones were stretching, growing at a rapid pace to where my tendons were getting irritated and swelling. Growing does not feel good. It's like when people be like, I'm on this healing journey and whatever and blah, blah, blah. I'll be looking at them like, no, you are not. You are not on no healing journey. If you still saying like this, like if you don't feel no type of way about yourself, if everything's, you ain't on no healing journey. Because healing for real healing, as somebody who's had surgery, real healing is messy. It hurts. It don't feel good, right? So the process is not going to feel good, but chill out. Like to know that you are in a process, to look at your environment and be like, you can look at it and say, oh, everything's against me. Or you can look at it and say, all of these things are for me. All things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. You can say that all these things are for me because they are pushing me. They are shaping me and they are molding me in the direction that God is calling me to be in. I'm getting aggressive because this is how I talk to myself in the mirror. When people would say, I do affirmations and I say, I am beautiful. I am loved. I am one of a kind. I'm like, girl. Don't you know? I be in the mirror fussing at myself. I wish I could do them little soft-spoken affirmations, but I don't. That's not going to get the crowd going. That's not going to get me going. I don't care about that. Shoot. And it could come from like, when I was growing up, all my cheerleading coaches were so rough. And so that's what motivates me. You got to be a little, shake me up. I'm going to shake myself. So yeah, chill out. You may be frustrated. Chill. You may feel like you're behind on time. Chill. You may not be happy with where you are. Chill out. You're going to be okay. Right? You're gonna be fine. I know it doesn't feel like it, but you're going to be fine. Y'all, listen. Last week, the Lord literally performed a miracle. It's like one of those things where it's like, is this God or is this a sit-up? Because it happens so fast. That's why I said it's a miracle. Because if you would have told me that the day before he would have did what he did, I would have said, surely, you're a liar. Your mother's a liar. Your grandmother's a liar. Your whole lineage, y'all need deliverance because y'all lie. If you would have told me the day before, I would have been like, certainly not. The Lord literally performed a miracle. And when it happened, I noticed the difference in myself. Because usually when things happen for me, or you remember, once again, I was talking about a few episodes ago, the me idolizing the works of my hands. I don't now. Lord, the Lord has to check me, but I would boast in myself. Especially being somebody who's had to survive and work hard and, all these other things. I will boast in myself. That's like I'd be at work, going back to this job. Like, if I was there was one time I was talking to somebody and they were like, they were like, oh, I was up late last night because whatever, blah, blah. I was like, well, I was up late last night too because I had to do a voiceover for this company. Girl. And, there's nothing wrong with sharing that kind of information, but it came from a place that wasn't pure. Like, as soon as I said, the Lord said, vanity. I was like, man, I was just telling her I did a voiceover. That's it. He was like, vanity. So I used to be very like, I do this, I do that. Because especially in that situation, I was like, I'm not like you. Ooh. I wanted them to know I'm not like y'all. And here I am in my process. Here they are in theirs, and we're in the same place. Anyways, so I used to boast to myself. But when it happened, when God did what he did last week, I was just like, man, nothing to do with me. That wasn't me. That was not me. And I really feel like because of, even in the situation, like my approach was different. When I realized that, because of course for a miracle to happen, something got to go wrong. Hello, can I just say that? Everybody wanting miracles and for God to do things. Something got to be wrong for for a miracle to happen. There has to be a deficit for the Lord to show up and do something divine. I just want to say that because people be asking for miracles and then cry when something ain't right. But anyways, I believe that the way that the situation was handled and the humility that, not only me, but my husband had in the situation as well, is what allowed for God to show up the way he did. So I say what I had to say once again. Chill out. Chill out, y'all. Everything's going to be okay. Take it from your girl, Jordan Alexa. But yeah, that's it. I hope that resonated with somebody. As always, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys once again for reaching out, messaging me, DMing me. If you want to follow me, if you want to talk, you can follow me on Instagram @_ Jordan Alexa. That's @_ JORDANALEXA. I'm always ready to talk. I'm always ready to, whatevs. Chop it up. I love you guys so much. And yeah, that's it. Chill out. You're going to be okay. God sees you. He's looking out for you. He appreciates your faith, and he appreciates the fact that you continuously choose him. And continue, I'm telling you, continue to choose him. Continue to go with God. You're going to be all right. All right? I love you so much. And this has been another episode of Actually with Jordan Alexa. See you.